Hey y'all, and welcome to I Just Called to Say, your reality TV and pop culture podcast. I'm your reality TV bestie, Megan Pue Pue, and you can follow me on Instagram at Megan Pue Pue. That is Megan _ Pue Pue. Okay, and you can also continue to follow all the fun at I Just Called to Say podcast. Like, subscribe, tell your mama and them. If you're watching reality TV, you should be listening to this podcast. Let me know what shows you're watching. I'll let you know what shows I'm watching, and then we can enjoy the banter together, babes. This is a very special episode because it is a little bit of a remix. Colleen invited me on her podcast, so obviously I had to show the content here. Because you know what? At the end of the day, when Colleen and I are talking, that's honestly how this podcast got started. It always comes back to Bravo. At the end of the day, it always comes back to Bravo. And on Colleen's podcast, it's all about home renovations, but we're also talking about housewives and home renovations. Think about it. There are a lot of housewives who do home renos, or their husbands do home renos. Real Housewives of New Jersey? Yeah, let's talk about it. Tune in for the episode. Let's just go ahead and dial into it. Subscribe to Colleen's podcast as well, and let's go ahead and get into it.
What had happened was...
Okay, welcome to the Ceder Stone Show by Cederberg Kitchens, the show where we discuss home remodeling and small business management. I'm your host, Colleen Cederberg, and this show is for you if you're interested in entrepreneurship, home improvement, and the construction industry. On today's show, we're going to discuss home remodeling and the housewives with podcast host and Bravo expert Megan Pue. Then we'll wrap it up with contractor FAQ, and I'll share my favorite recipes over the past week. Make sure to follow along with us on our Instagram page, our YouTube channel, and our Substack, where you can find the links discussed in today's episode along with photos of our recently completed projects. Okay, let's get into it. Megan Pue has been watching reality TV from the time she was allowed to access the remote. She had a My Super Sweet 16 themed 16th birthday party. Need I say more? She's the host of the I Just Called to Say podcast, and she also works as a social media manager. Most importantly, Megan is from my hometown of Columbia, South Carolina, which is famously hot and surprisingly cool, which I think describes both of us. Megan is my sounding board for all things Bravo, and she's with us today to discuss home remodeling and the Housewives franchise. Welcome to the show, Megan.
I couldn't be more excited to be here. This podcast, all this content that you're providing for entrepreneurs, lifestyle contractors, girl, this is for our demographic. We are at that age.
We're finally getting there. I feel like we're just starting to kind of like, we don't have as much money as our parents did at this age, but we're kind of getting there.
But we have Pinterest and we can dream.
Precisely. And no one dreams like a real housewife. So what I thought we would do today is I kind of bucketed the shows, and there's some talking points from each show that I would like to run past you, because at first I was like, oh, obviously New Jersey comes to mind because they're all crooked contractors. Mm-hmm. But then as I started to kind of like go into the recesses of my mind and think of all the things that are there that don't need to be there and would be much better served learning other facts, whatever. There's a lot of contracting on Bravo. So let's just like get New Jersey out of the way. Okay. So we have Joe Giudice versus Joe Gorga. Megan, you can only hire one. Who are you hiring to do your kitchen?
I'm going to choose Margaret's Joe.
Oh, okay.
Is that an option?
Joe. No, it can be.
Okay. I get all the Joes confused.
Yeah.
But he's a Joe, right? That's her Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he is. He's a licensed plumber. And
he's a contractor too. Wasn't he a contractor when he met Margaret?
Yes. So that was going to be my next point, was that, Andrew better watch out, because that is actually how Margaret found her husband. She fell in love with her contractor.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. That is going above and beyond service. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I like him as a contractor because Margaret's got some crazy taste. If you look at that home, it is very wallpaper forward.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
There's a lot of color. There's a lot of texture. And that's something that I would possibly want. And at no point, well, he
Mm-hmm.
probably did, but they just didn't show the footage. But at no point did he question any of her taste. He just said, okay, we just got to get it done the proper way. And it took a long time. So he didn't rush through any of this. He didn't try and shortchange it. Though it is
Uh-huh.
gaudy, he made sure that the work was secure.
That's a great point. He's a dream realizer. She dreams, he produces. And I think you're right that he would make it right. And I think out of the three, like I don't really believe that Joe Gordica is like gonna build a wall. Like I believe there will be a structure that's intended to be a wall. I'm gonna put a little bit of weight on it, it's gonna fall over. So I wouldn't really trust him, the integrity of anything that that man has built.
I don't even trust the team that Joe Gorga would bring on as a
No,
contractor. Like I'm like, none of
no,
these guys look like look like they know what they're doing. None of them.
no,
Like I feel like
no.
they all like. And if you look at his crew, there's always one guy, just like one like really guy who looks like he did like Habitat for Humanity one time. And I'm like, is he a volunteer? Is he volunteering on this home? Because I don't trust that person. Like, I don't feel like they should be here. They just kind of
You're
like that
like,
square
sir,
mission group look.
yeah, square mission group. You're like pulling him aside. You're like, you're getting paid, right?
Right?
And he's like, well, no, Joe gave me like ownership of his pizza company. You're like, okay, well, that's debunked. So
Yeah,
you
you're
are
like,
not
how'd you
getting
find him?
paid.
And he was just like hanging outside of my church. And he was like, hey, let me talk
Yep.
to you for a second.
Yeah. Okay, so we're taking Margaret's Joe. Okay, and then the other New Jersey home building storyline, which I don't know if it's actually been explored on the show yet. I think it's going to come up this season, is when Melissa built her house and it was hideous, and then the internet made fun of her, and then she was like, "It was COVID."
That, okay. This is the same house that she's like, you got to hurry it up so that Antonia can have her senior year in the house. Is this that house?
Yeah.
The most recent one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, for all the hype, it did not live up. And that is honestly the house that I'm envisioning at this moment because I'm rewatching Jersey. It's literally on in the background. And I'm like,
Wow.
this is not. And that's what I'm talking about when there's always the one guy who looks like he shouldn't be on the construction
No.
site.
No.
And that's why
And she
Melissa's house
clearly
looks that
didn't
way.
run her designs past a designer. She just basically, I don't think she even went into Pinterest. I think she saw the interior of Kyle Richards' home and said, make it happen. And then Joe was like, say no more,
Yep.
fam. And then built whatever that was out of like leftover materials. Like he didn't buy that stuff new. And that's what they came up with.
You're so right about Kyle Richards because it has like a old Hollywood vintagey wannabe look that doesn't suit this area. Because I don't know what the style of homes are that are relative to New Jersey, but everyone seems to go for medieval castle looks. And
Yeah.
it seems so common. Like even Teresa's house, it's so castle. All of her houses have been
Yes.
castle-y, but I'm like, why? This is so.
I don't know. They're all castles. You're so right. They're like Tuscan castle
Mhm.
or English castle
Mhm.
or French castle, but or Italian castle. You're just choosing which European castle you want to go. Okay, so that's New Jersey. We've covered them. We know that they're all contractors. We only kind of trust Joe, but we are worried that he will start an affair. Let's go into this was the one that I was like, oh my God, I forgot all about this, but this was hilarious. Was Real Housewives of Atlanta, Moore Manor versus Chateau Charest, the unfinished basement. They were just being okay. The first thing, which one are you gonna have? When are you gonna live in? Are you gonna live in Chateau Charest or Moore Manor?
I'm gonna go with Chateau Charest.
Oh, okay.
Just because Rome wasn't built in a day and Chateau Charest, it took a while, but it's still, I think it lived up to the hype. And you know what? It doesn't look dated. For as long as it took, it still looks good. Whereas like Moore
That's
Manor, it's
true.
starting to look a little dated. Like I'm seeing
It is
chipped
starting to look
paint.
dated. Yeah. The concerns with Moore Manor is that it's also in the dirt pit. And it frequently she would bring people there to film and it would just be like red dirt everywhere. And then she somehow built this like white modern monstrosity.
Like
But I
what?
do have
Like
to
you
say,
can't be like you have to think about the resale value on a driveway like that. If you live up a hill, like literally, I remember on one episode she was like, "We're gonna meet at so and so's house because we can't get up the hill on the bus can't get up the hill at my place." And I'm like, "This is a problem. Like this is like that's
I need to
crazy."
know who their real estate agents are and who their contractors are. I do think that Sheree was probably hiring one guy every other couple months. Whenever she had some cash, she'd be like, "Okay, come finish, this bathroom. Okay, I got
And he
tile,
was
come do
not a
this." So like
licensed
that's why it took
contractor.
so
He's like a
long.
handyman. Like,
No,
I'm a really good
no,
handyman. He was that kind of guy.
no. Definitely like her uncle's friend.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
that she would just so she couldn't use her credit card. She had to have cash on hand, and she would just have him doing it whenever she had like a sponsored post, an infusion.
All the
I
things
do
you
think Kenya
don't
had the
want in your
money.
contractor. The moment they're like cash only, you're like,
Mm, mm,
this
mm,
is not the
mm,
club.
mm, mm. You don't want to go on to Georgia.gov license contractor search. You're not going to find the guy who did Sheree's house. I can guarantee you. Okay, so that was good. I enjoyed them fighting about it was annoying because I also kind of just felt like they should not be like building these homes. Like I just think Sheree should have been in like a condo
Yep.
where she didn't have to have a yard. It'd be really nice.
And
A
since Kenya
doorman
has built her
even.
home, she thinks that she is Miss HGTV. Like she goes into everyone's home, like automatically judging or saying like what they should have done, or like on your
Yeah,
next home you should hire me. And it's like, what
yeah.
do you mean hire you? No, what?
We're not doing that.
No.
Another factor of her home, which it's a perfect segue into my next franchise, is that everything in her home looks so sharp.
Ooh,
Like it just looks like an inhospitable environment. It
yeah.
doesn't look homey or cozy. It's just like very cold lit, which brings me to Ashley's condo of glass in the sky. And
In
we're going to
Potomac.
Potomac now. Yes.
Which both those people have children. And I'm like, at no point did these homes look like they were supposed to be kid friendly. Like,
No, they were not designed with children in mind.
not
So
at
here's the
all.
question. Are you living in Ashley's condo of glass of sharp edges? Or are you living in Giselle Bryant's? It looks like she like caboosed a house together. Like she just was like, I'll take this part from this
Mhm.
house and this part from this house. I don't think she was as much as Sheree. Like I think Giselle maybe had a lot of people working at it once. They were not talking to each other.
Oh my God. I'm going to choose. Oh man. Do I have kids in this scenario?
You have to live in this house for the rest of your
Okay, I
life.
have to live in this house for the rest of my life. I'm gonna choose the glass in the sky because Giselle
Okay.
also has one of those crazy steep backyard hills,
Yes.
which I'm like, that
Yes.
is not good. That is not good.
Also a mud pit. I don't think that they're getting licensing on this. I don't think someone's coming in and saying you're building your house at the bottom of a wet hill. Don't do that.
Like, and you're right, Giselle's home is very hodgepodge. Like they just slapped a whole bunch of different pieces and aesthetics together, and the inside is
Yeah.
representative of the outside, truly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of velvet and purple in that home, and I don't like
Yeah.
it. I don't like
None of it looks soft. Like it is intended to be soft, but it doesn't actually look like it would be comfortable to the touch. Would you hire Robin Dixon to flip your home?
it. Is that the only option? It's just Robin.
Okay, you've got Robin or Bethany Frankel.
Oh God, I'm gonna go Robin because at least I can
Yeah,
step all over her and get what I want, as opposed to Bethany being like, no, no, we're not doing that.
you 100% could step all over Robin. That's an excellent choice. I was thinking Bethany because like I know the job's gonna get done. Which like Robin, I think it would literally take years. But with Robin, it's like whatever.
Right.
You
Well,
can tell her to do.
Bethany, you got no design input in that home. That is not nothing in there is what you wanted. It's beautiful, but it is not what you
Yeah.
asked for. And Bethany's like, it
No.
doesn't matter. Your taste sucks.
Yeah, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, you're right, Beth.
Robin's like, I don't know, pick something. And you're like, oh well, like I just like don't know if this is like a load bearing wall or if I can move it. And she's like, okay.
So the options are do it yourself or have Bethany do it for you. Because if you're working with Robin, you're taking the lead on this project.
It's
because she's
essentially
not.
DIY. Yeah, no. You're making money with Bethany too.
Yes,
Like
there we go.
Bethany's like, yeah,
Bethany's like, all right, let's hurry up and flip another. And you're like, oh my God,
yeah,
I thought it was just going to be the one.
yeah. She's like, all right, like you're a developer. She's like, bought land. She's like, I've cleared the land. We're building 10 homes. You're like, okay. It would take Bethany the same amount of time that if Robin was to flip one home, Bethany could build a neighborhood. I'm convinced.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And especially because Bethany's like on like her Shark Tank, like entrepreneur. Like, what do you call it when like
Yes.
people like buy like a wholesale buying of homes and stuff?
I think that's developing.
Okay.
Or I know what you're talking about, like real estate investment, where they're like, apparently like all the homes in America are actually owned by like these Chinese companies.
Yes.
I know like that.
Yes. It's like those bigger pocket business bros, and they're like, yeah, you just gotta like buy like an apartment complex, flip it, and then
Yes.
you get a couple of bozos in there to sell it for you.
Yeah, exactly. She's like has a hedge fund
Yeah.
of real estate. By the time that Robin has, and again, has done a 2-bedroom, 1-bath flip, that is, they're given the same amount of time, money, and materials. That is what they can accomplish.
And Bethany's able to do this because she's working with that guy on Bravo TV. What's that real estate agent that she loves?
Frederick.
Frederick, yes.
Frederick.
So
I
Frederick and
have
Bethany,
like,
that is energy. That is like that is
yeah.
crack real estate. That is crack entrepreneurs.
And then you have Giselle and Robin who are just blindly in the blind. It's just like, your home's not getting done.
It's like it took so long for you to do such a bad job. I'm so sad for you. I'm so sad. I wish you could get your money back. And you have to live it. You have to look at it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even like seeing a chip or like a imperfection. I'm like, now I have to look at this all the time. Like, I could never. But like when she chose to put those wallpapers and velvets up, it's like, you chose this to look at this forever. That is so sad.
It's insane. Okay, so what I think Giselle is going for is what I think, actually, moving to another franchise, Heather Dubrow has accomplished when it comes to home building and home design execution.
This
Would
is
you
finally
agree?
a good. This is actually a positive. I'm like, there's no good construction or real, none of it. But this is a good one.
No.
This is the one that I can think of.
Yeah, that was like, this is what we're gonna do. This is how it's gonna look. I mean, it's like audacious as hell. It's like, but it does look nice.
Yes.
It's structurally sound.
Yes.
They built it on the top of a mountain instead of the bottom of a hill, which I think is great.
Had amazing resale.
Amazing resale. Also a champagne room, which people forget that Charisse from Potomac is actually the originator of the champagne room.
Wow. Yes, you were right. Charisse did some construction to that office, or what was it, a guest bedroom? Whatever that belonged to her
like a front room. Yeah.
A room that shouldn't have been a champagne room, but she said, but we can do it. Make it work.
She definitely devalued the home by installing whatever that was. And Heather Dubrow developed a beautiful
resort.
It is a mall, but it's a resort. Yeah, it's a resort. It's the best
and she did she did an amazing job that I feel like she influenced a lot of people in that area who would never say it. Like Crystal from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she built a brick oven or a hibachi in her basement. And I was like,
yes,
these things don't make sense in a basement. The
ventilation.
Yeah. Like, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, but you were inspired by something you probably saw at Heather Dubrow's house, you know? And you're like, we could do that, but you couldn't. Like,
you couldn't.
It's kind of like how I feel about bidets. Like, I could be for bidets, but I just see a lot of bidets that are like the do-it-yourself. You just kind of like install it around your existing toilet, which I'm like, okay, you do what you got to do. I don't like that. But if a bidet was built into the home, it was there when you bought it, I can get into that. It's meant to be there. And that's what I feel about that brick oven pizza. It's not meant to be there. But Heather's
I think you're onto something with that. I think actually, like, we come across it a lot where it's like, unless this area was designed with this specialty item in mind, when you're adding that specialty item after all of the design and work has gone in, it's not going to work well. It's not going to fit well. and you're going to kind of constantly be working around the fact that your home was not built to have a hibachi grill in the basement.
Like you're entertaining upstairs and like fumes are coming through and you're having to tell people
Yeah.
the kids are making hibachi or brick oven pizzas down there.
No.
So sorry, but it's fancy, right?
Your
It's cool.
house is going to stink for literally days. Think about what your clothes smell like when you leave a hibachi restaurant.
Oh my God. One thing that I love, a home design feature that I would love to have, that I saw on the Real Housewives of Dubai. The woman said it is customary to have a full kitchen outside because you don't cook inside. She's like, why would you want your house to smell like food? She's like, so your kitchen on the inside is just supposed to be beautiful, pristine. You gather around it, you can eat at it, but you do no cooking in there. It's like, because the weather is always nice. Everyone builds their homes to have beautiful kitchens outdoor. She's like, so you do all your cooking out there.
Heaven.
I'm like, that's so nice.
That is so nice. Our builder like didn't vent our kitchen right. So now whenever we cook, it just like fills up our entire home. We have to figure out we know what to do. We just have to pay for it or to get it re-vented out. And it is so annoying to have your entire house smell for like the remainder of your evening with whatever your dinner was. It's not
You're planning
great.
meals around that. You're like, but I don't want to cook that because if I go out at this time, then I'm going to smell like,
Right.
so I'll just cook that at the end of the day because it's fine.
End of the day.
That's at home.
Does Vicky's kitchen still have the Caliente sign in it?
That was a moment. I feel like that was like a live, laugh, love staple.
Yes. I feel like I could paint that kitchen from memory. Like it was just like Tuscan and heavy, and there's just like all of these,
Tile,
like,
backsplash, like kind of like
Yes.
orange. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I
everyone
wonder what
had
it
like
looks like now.
the for the longest I didn't even know what it was, but it was like the thing that's on the back of a stove range where like the water can come out from it.
Pot filler.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had no idea. For some reason I always thought it was gas. I'm like, what is that? Never knew water came out of it.
They're pretty.
That's how broke I am.
If
That's only
they
for rich
are on
people.
the same, they are, because if they're on the same walls, like where your original plumbing is, it's not that big of a deal. It's like not that expensive. But if your sink is like across from where your stove is, those are really expensive to put in because you have to run your plumbing all the way around.
And like, what is like the design / chef rule that like everything has to be a triangle of some sort in your kitchen?
Yeah, the triangle, the sink, the stove, and the refrigerator.
Wow.
Like, do I know this?
You would know this. This is your bag. This is your thing.
Okay, so on our last franchise to discuss, we've got Roni. And we've already discussed Bethany a little bit, but what came to mind were two individuals. First off is Ramona. Remember when she did that house in the Hamptons and it was like a large gray tomb?
Yes. I didn't even realize it was a Hamptons home because it fit a Hamptons aesthetic.
No, it could be like,
I'm like, are you sure it's in Sag Harbor? It's a little bit farther up, Ramona. Tell us it's Sag Harbor.
well, it's on the highway. Remember? Because she was like so insecure about that.
They came for the location.
It really reminds me of like, so when I lived in Texas, we'd be like on the highway between Austin and Dallas. And like Dallas is just so sprawling. But like you'd be on the highway and you would just see these like neighborhoods of McMansions. But you'd be like, who the fuck would want to live in these like huge houses that are next to the highway? Like I can, like, it just like, there's not like any vegetation. It's just like little boxes full of ticky-tacky next to each other. That's how she redid that home in the Hamptons or Sag Harbor.
Also, just to talk about Texas real estate, I heard a really iconic name for the style of homes that are popping up in Austin, like those new builds, and I feel like it perfectly describes them. My friend calls them space barns. You see it?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, these are space barns.
They are space barns.
They are. All these little space barns are popping up everywhere.
You know why they look like that? It's because they're efficiently built. It's all about like HVAC. Because I was like, are we all that into this look? Because it is just such a specific design that I was like, why can't we just like redo the cool limestone bungalows? But it's because it's like actually the most energy efficient thing to do. It's to just like bulldoze the bungalow and build a space barn.
Wait, I'm still stuck on the limestone bungalow. I'm like, that's so specific. And I see it and I want it. I'm like, no, don't tear it down.
I
I'm
know.
like, we'll just reinforce the windows and struggle. We'll put some solar panels up top. It's fine.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh God, solar panels. I went, no surprise here. I went down this path. I was like, in 12 years, they will have paid for themselves.
And when
They're
did you
hard
get
to
them?
get. I still haven't got them because it's
Oh,
like, despite how many solar panel salespeople there are,
yeah.
I really want the tax credit, is what it's going to come down to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a limited amount of people that can get the tax credit.
Mm-hmm.
So once you qualify for that, then I want to
Okay.
put
That
them
makes
up.
sense.
But then it's like, and I don't know why I'm like thinking I'm going to be moving because I'm not, but like
You
you
did
do
for
have
a
to
while
live
move
there.
every 2 years. You
Yeah,
got a 2-year itch. I was like, hey, Colleen, I'm
I
in
did.
Austin. And you were like, I'm in North Carolina.
Interesting. My time there had to end because I was there for 2 years. Yeah, but I'm gonna stay here for more at my current home for at least 5.
Okay.
So maybe I should
Okay.
just go ahead and get the panels. Whatever. Not a big deal. Okay, so I think like on the whole, my summary statement was like these women definitely think that renovations are good TV because of HGTV and like Magnolia Home.
Mm-hmm.
And like because a renovation is so big and disruptive in your life and these people are so like narcissistic, they definitely think this is amazing TV. But I don't think ultimately it is that compelling because all like as a viewer, it's such a passive experience. You're just like, show me before, show me after. That's all I want.
Exactly. The home renovation goes hand in hand with them planning a wedding. It's like and it's like all of us who've been to a wedding, we're like, yeah, we're just judging your wedding. We've been there, we've all had them. We're going in here and we are tearing apart every piece of it. So I feel like if you're willing to do a reconstruction or renovation on a home on this show, be willing for us to tear it apart. And don't be mad when
That
we do. You put yourself in this vulnerable state.
is the perfect analogy where it's like when you are planning a wedding, it is so much work. When you are doing renovation, it is so much work. So you're like, obviously, everyone wants to know all of these details. We don't. We just want to show up when it's done and tell you what we would have done differently. That's all we want.
One of my favorite things that Colleen said when we first started podcasting, because she and I both love to talk, it's like oftentimes when we're like listening to people talk, it's like, okay, but when is it my turn to talk? And
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like watching this, it's like, okay, but when can I shit on your stuff now? Like, hurry up with the episode, be done with it, because just be done with the renovation, just be done with the wedding, because we want to talk
Yeah.
about it. Like, I
Why'd you
couldn't
put
wait for
that
Giselle to
there?
be done with her house because it was like, this is so bad from beginning to
Yes.
end.
Yes.
We got to
Yes.
see it.
Yes.
But even like with Heather
I
Dubrow, it was like, this has got to go bad at some point, and it did not. At every turn, she
no.
just educated us. It was like, wow, I didn't know I wanted that in a home. Didn't know you could put
Yeah.
that in a home.
She's like, well, you have to wait for these things to be imported before these things can be imported, and then you can install them simultaneously. And you're like,
That's good
okay,
TV. Now
interesting.
that
Yeah.
actually was good. She put us on to something. It was like she just like did a bunch of things that nobody could afford.
Yeah.
Like just like she really got into that one percenter, and she was like, "I'm gonna show them. They ain't never seen this." And it was like, wow,
So maybe what it is like you have to be spending an obscene amount of money for your renovation to be compelling.
yeah,
Because like the Queen of Versailles, have you watched those
I
documentaries? You
haven't.
should if you haven't.
Okay,
Oh my God, you have to watch it. But it's like the similar situation where it's like once it's at an obscene level, it's not really that interesting. Like I know Giselle has a lot of money and she redid her kitchen and stuff, but or her house, but it's like it's not unattainable. We all
hmm
know people with the same amount of money that Giselle has, probably more. But like it's not like Heather Dubrow is in just like entirely different echelon. So I think that's what makes it compelling.
right. It's like us watching Below
Um,
Deck. We're like, these are people who can afford to go on a yacht vacation. Like that's money, as opposed to like watching like the housewives go to like Mexico. You're like, I mean,
yeah,
if we plan
yeah,
it, we can go do that this year.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, but us taking a yacht, that's not happening.
No, I could never spend tens of thousands to spend 4 days on a yacht. It's
It's like
not
4
happening.
days.
It's so short. I'm always like, and then the tip, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know what you could do with that money?
And we won't even go down this rabbit hole, but the decor and the how they model design boats, it's so awful. Why is there always gold trim everywhere?
So I think it is like it's all because they're such high value items. It's like there are only so many yachts made each year, and then they keep up with them. Like they keep a lot of great care of them. So the design just never ages. But the the boat doesn't, sorry, the design always ages, the boat doesn't. So it's like you
Uh,
might be on a boat that's like 15 years old, but they've kept up with it. So it's like still nice, still
yeah.
usable, but like the design's really old.
You're like gold everything. Oh my
A lot of
God.
gold, a lot of like classic nautical look.
Yep.
I want like 80s sleaze yacht. Like that would be so fun.
Like a shag carpet or like some color pops.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Like backlighting.
So someone needs to have a new show. It's like rich people who own yachts and they just want to have them updated and decorated. And then they hire
Yes.
a housewife
Heather Dubrow.
to decorate to do the decor. Oh my God. Heather
She could
Dubrow.
do yacht flips.
Yes, that would eat.
She comes in, she like there's like a little hijinks where she like wants to wear her heels on the boat, but she can't balance. It's fun.
She's like, oh, I need help. My
Yeah.
Louboutins. I can't balance.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she redoes the yacht and then you watch it be done. I
Yeah.
would watch that.
And they do a little nod to the movie Overboard with Goldie Hawn, and they put a closet in there that has like a conveyor belt, like the moving
Yeah.
shelves, just like she wanted.
Oh, I want that so bad. Okay. I think we're good. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time and your insight. We end every interview with the same two questions. Number one, what was the last recipe you made that you would want to recommend to a friend?
I made my mom's chicken salad recipe, and I'm really picky when
Ooh.
it comes to chicken salad, but this recipe is so good. And honestly, I wish I could like give the recipe away, but it's just you measure it with your heart, and it's those basic
Oof.
ingredients.
Okay. Does it have grapes in it or nuts?
No, it's not like a Sonoma chicken salad with grapes in it. It's just like, but
Uh-huh.
there is egg. Does everyone put egg in their chicken salad? Like a hard
I
boiled
don't
egg?
think so.
Okay, that might be the trick.
Okay.
Yeah, a hard boiled egg in there.
Is there a crunch factor at all or is it all smooth? I'm fine
There
with
is some
whatever.
celery in there and like some green onion.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's like that crunch.
Oh, okay, amazing. Ooh, that sounds so good. I love chicken salad.
Yeah, it's chicken
Have you
salad season.
been to a chicken salad chick?
I love a chicken salad chick.
Yeah,
And I love the one that's like the fruity tooty one. And it's got like the grapes and strawberries, I think, in it. It's so
it's
good.
good. Yeah. I
Is
mean,
that a
I think that
Columbia
they're
thing?
like killing it. I think it's like a local chain to the southeast because I
Okay.
think I just saw an ad for them and I was like, hmm. I did go one time and get like a platter and it was just like 3 scoops of chicken salad and I was like, a little weird. You gotta get a sandwich next time.
Like it is weird. Like the presentation is not, I mean, because it's chicken
It,
salad.
yeah, yeah.
It's not cute. And I'm like, how do you make it
It,
cute though?
it's funny. It's an interesting chain.
But yeah, it's like the scoop. She's like,
Yeah, so gross. But ultimately delicious. Probably not as good as your mom's though. Okay, second question. If you could upgrade your kitchen right now, no budget, no waiting, snap of the fingers, what are you changing?
I live in Brooklyn, New York, and we moved into a new build. And the building is like it's like a year old now. So I love everything
Hmm.
that's in it. But I saw something in a home that I would love to add to this. I saw
Okay.
a water filter, just like for like a water bottle refill, like right at the sink.
Yes. Yes,
And it
I've
was like
seen that.
filtered
It's
water, and you could just like
lovely.
touch it at the sink. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I need
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. You don't have to mess with the fridge.
Yeah, or
You're
like have
just
to
right at
worry
the
about
sink.
refilling the Brita. I'm like, I'm having to rechange
Yeah.
the Brita all the time. I'm like, I could actually be saving the planet
Oof.
if I had this. So actually, it makes sense.
You know, Megan, I think you could have that
Like, I want
in
that.
this
Do you guys
kitchen.
have like a video or a do it yourself that you can show me how to do that?
I don't know. Might be actually too much work to like drill into the countertop, so never mind. You can't have that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, that's a thing.
I'll talk to my guy. We'll see.
Yeah, everyone's got a guy. I gotta get a guy. You're so Jersey. She got a
You
guy.
gotta get a guy. You can talk to Joe Bonino about it. All right, Megan,
This
thank you
was
so much for
great.
being on the show. We love you. We'll have you back to talk more home reno and Bravo.
Bye,